Hi, we're doing a lesson today on the counting principle, and I wanted to go over some examples with you. So if you could, take out your handout that goes along with this lesson. It's titled Math 8.67 Review Questions. Okay, as soon as you get that out, we'll go through some questions here. It says, number one, the table contains the components to a stereo system. How many different stereo systems can you create using one component from each category? So our categories are receiver, speakers, CD player. And so we take the number in each category. There's 1, 2, 3 different types of receivers, Majestic, Sony, RCA, and we put a 3 underneath that column. Then we look at the column on speakers, and we have 1, 2 different types of speakers, Pioneer and Harman. So we're going to put a 2 here. And then in the last column is our CD player, and it's an Apex or a Panasonic CD player, and so we're going to put a 2 under that column because there's 2 different choices. Then what we do is, to do the basic counting principle, we're trying to find the total number of ways that you can put together a stereo system. So we're going to multiply these categories together. So 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 times 2 is 12. There's 12 different ways. Okay, question 2. For lunch, there are several choices, 3 main choices, 4 side items, and 2 desserts. If you select 1 main, 1 side, and 1 dessert, then how many different ways could you choose a meal? So what we're going to do is we have 3 different categories. We have the main, we have the sides, and we have desserts. Okay? You need to know how many are in each category. So when you're trying to figure out how many are in each category, you just want to count them. And here it just tells you 3 main courses and 4 side items and 2 desserts. So we have 3 times 4 times 2. So 12 times 2 would be 24 different outcomes, or 24 ways. Okay. You're placing 4 pictures in a line on a shelf. Find the number of ways you can arrange the 4 pictures. So if you have 4 pictures, you have 4 choices for the first place on the shelf. And then once you've used one of your picture frames, then you have 3 left. So times 3. And then times 2. And then last, there's 1 left to put on the shelf, so 1. So let's multiply. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. Times 1 is 24 ways. Okay, question 4. Now the reason why we're finding the total number of outcomes is because when we study probability, probability is the number of ways in favor of an event over the total number of outcomes. So here we're going to talk about what is the probability that you will win. And the game that we're playing involves a coin and a number cube. And if you flip, the flip of a coin lands on a tail, you win. And if the roll of the number cube lands on a 6, so it's a 6-sided die. And so if it lands on the 6, you win. So probability of the coin landing on a tail is 1 out of 2. And so what we talked about earlier is when you're finding probabilities of independent events, these events are totally unrelated to each other, that we want to multiply those probabilities together. So there's 6 sides to the cube, and one of the sides have 6, the number 6 on it, so that's 1 out of 6, so 1 side in favor out of 6 sides. So to find the probability that this would happen, you would multiply these fractions together, 1 out of 12. So the probability of flipping a coin, landing on tails, and rolling a cube, and landing on a 6 is 1/12. All right, and the last example on your page here, to get to work, you can choose from 1 of 4 trains and 1 of 5 buses. How many different ways can you get to work? Well, there's 1 of 4 trains, so you have to take a train, and you have to take a bus. There's 5 buses, so 4 times 5 equals 20 ways to get to work. And this is how you find the basic counting principle. Take the number in each category together and multiply to find your total number of ways.